Hello everyone, my name is Rima Bishara and I wanted to explain to you a little bit about foils because a lot of people don't know what they are. Foils are made from a thin layer of non-reactive metal sheets that are fused to cellophane, and you apply them by putting on a special foil adhesive, and I'll go into more details as to the precautions you need to take during the live. But they're not also supposed to transfer 100% like the transfers you get from IOD or any of those companies. They transfer about 80 to 90, 95%. And it depends on the humidity in the room, the weather outside, the temperature basically. You can find all of these, including the foil adhesive, on my website. I have over 60 different ones that you can pick from. So what we'll be needing for this project is a glass plate from Dollar Tree, a foil adhesive, and I'm going to be using two foils. You'll also need things like a sealer. I'm also planning on resining, so resin, paint brushes or foams. And if you like what you see, please subscribe and like the video. And if you have any questions, please leave them. I will get back to you as soon as I can. Enjoy the video. Take care. Bye. Okay, now that we know what we need, we're going to start off cleaning the plate. And that's really important because there are oils from hands that I don't know what was on what touched the plate at the factory whilst it was being made. And we need to do our first step. So I need to remove this label. Okay. And now we need to clean the plate, and I use 91% alcohol that I put in a spray bottle, or you can get it in a spray bottle, and I'm just going to spray it with alcohol just to make sure everything on the back of the plate is clean. And as I said, you will need the adhesive embellishment foil adhesive. I'm going to put this in a plate. Make sure that you clean your rims so that it does not stick, because this is really sticky. Yours will come either in a 2-ounce if you order the sample pack, or if you want the 10-ounce adhesive, that's also available. I just poured some into my plate, and there are several things that you can use to apply it. Now, if yours will not have these lumps. Mine, I used the end of a gallon, and that's why you're seeing these lumps. You can use a paintbrush, as I said, and just apply it. You want one smooth coat. If you use a brush, you will get brush marks. If you use the pouncer, you'll get an indentation, but try and keep it as smooth as possible. As you can see, this is the worst that it can be if you've had your gallon sitting. Well, you won't have a gallon. You'll use a 4 ounce or a 2 ounce. They are available in bigger sizes. But if you're not using it regularly, then I suggest, if you're starting out, that you get the smallest one. And if you're experienced with foils and have used them before, then the 4 ounce will work. But we do have bigger ones. They are a special order. So I'm just making sure everything on here is well covered. If you miss a spot, you won't be able to do the transfer. So make sure you cover everything really well. This is, as I've said before, incredibly sticky and will be sticky for days, weeks. So as you can see, if you do have a lump, you just see me picking it up and removing it. Make sure you go over your plate. Just going over everything just to double check. It goes on milky white, but as it dries, and it goes clear. And as I said, I'm going over it in 2 directions, just to make sure that I have everything covered. As far as your brush is concerned, wrap it up in press and seal and leave it for your next step. You can wash it if you want with soap and water, but if you're going to be using it again, then there's no need. I'm just smoothing mine out. Then I'm going to cover it. I'm going to cover it so that no amount of dust goes near it. If you have dogs, animals, or cats, their hairs can get attracted to this. So you just saw I wrapped it up for later. I'm going to leave this to dry. The minimum amount of time to leave it to dry is 45 minutes to an hour. I'm probably going to leave it for 3-4 hours, just for safety. Okay, I'm back again. I have choices of which foils I want to put down first, and I would pick, especially for glass, if it's going to be done so that you can see it on both sides, something like Ava's Flower, because front and back you can see flowers. You can, or you can use Clio's flowers, because the front and the back are also the same. There are a few foils that I have that are transparent, like these. What would not work is something like this, because that has a beautiful pattern on the front, but look at the back. you don't see a design. So the one that I've decided to use is this one. It's called Serenity. So I'm just going to cut a piece of it out. And I'll be back to show you how we apply it. So I've cut out my flower. There is a tip I need to show you where you can tell which is the front and which is the back. And I will explain that in a minute after I put down my paper. And you can be more purposeful in the way you put the paper. Yes, there will be creases, but I'm just smoothing it out. And then you need a scrub brush and start scrubbing. And I haven't forgotten to show you how you decide the front from the back, because it can be confusing. Now when you order, when I remember to do this, I put a small label, very small label, so that's something like this, that tells you that this is the part that should stick up. That's the part that does not transfer. So I'm scrubbing with a scrub brush. And I'm going to start checking if it has released. And if it has, how much of it has released. It has released, but not enough for me. So I'm going to go back and get some more. And I got some more. You will need some elbow grease for this. And you will know when it's completely transferred. Let me just take this out. As you can see, it's transferred on the paper. When the flower is on and the back of the metallization is clear. Now I can go back and add a little bit more if I want, so that I get a complete transfer. Now if you don't get the transfer, see, now I have even less on the paper, and that's when I decide whether I want to go further or not. So I'm going to continue scrubbing, and when I come back, I'll show you the plate and what to do next, and also how to tell the difference between which part you put down and which part faces you. And that's if I forget to put a sticker or if you misplace the sticker. I'll be back. Okay, so I did a fast video to show you how I did it, and I want you to see that there's hardly anything left in the center of my paper. Let me just remove this. And this is how the plate, I want to show you how the plate looks from the back, and this is how the plate looks from the front. So let me just remove that, put it aside. so that I can show you how to figure out which is the top part and which is the bottom part. You just get a piece of tape. And you place it in a space that you want. Usually I pick a corner. And if I'm not sure, I'll test. So I'll do this. And if something comes out, that's the part you put at the bottom. Nothing came out. Let's check this side. And this did come out. So where the part of the side where you get an imprint is the side you put down on the glass. So I hope that's clear. I'm going to keep this here because I can always use it for something else. I'm bringing the plate back. Okay, so the next thing we need to do before we do our second application is apply a coat of matte varnish, because the foil itself is still sticky and it will still attract dust. So you need to seal it. I'm sealing it with the matte varnish, but you don't have to. You can use any varnish you want, but that's the one I started with. And I'm going to put it all over. Remember, this is the back of the plate. And we're not putting anything on the front because we don't want, because we just want to make sure we can eat on it. And putting these products on the surface of the plate will not be food safe. At least until they discover a varnish that's food safe. They do have resins that are supposedly food safe, and I believe them. But right now we're doing all our work on the back of the plate. I'll come back when I've dried this, and I will show you the next step. For some reason, my audio did not record as I was filming this, so I apologize. I have to do a voiceover. I'm applying the foil adhesive again over the sealed surface of the plate so that we can apply our second foil. And in this section, I'm showing that you can use different tools to apply the adhesive. I'm using some sort of sponge pouncer, which, by the way, I didn't really care for, but I'm trying out different things besides a regular foam pouncer or a cosmetic sponge or a brush. And once this is done, I placed it in a dust-free environment with a tent over it. Okay, so my plate has been under a tent, so to speak, since Sunday. Today is Tuesday. And we're going to be using this foil that's called Harvest Gold. And this is one of two foils right now that we have, that when you place it over, when you use the bottom side, it will look like gold. We have another one that's silver, and I'm not sure if I'm explaining this right, but I think in the last section I explained that some, you can't use all foils the way I used this one, because you'll end up with the silver. And in this one, you end up with seeing the actual flowers on the other side. So I'm going to apply this, and we might need more than one piece. It's already, look at this, it's already come through on the edges. And just be careful, sometimes it's hard to get these not to curl up on you. And with some of the foils, the edges are, the foil, if you get this side stuck, it could remove your whole, the glue. I don't know if that's making any sense, but I'm putting this on now. And I did have my scrubber. I'll use another one. This is another scrubber that I have because I can't find anything in my studio these days. It feels like there is a special thief that comes around at night. Now I might have to do 2 coats, I'll see. But you can see right now how this is turning out. So I'm hoping that I didn't miss out on applying the adhesive well. If I did, I'll just have to repeat the step. So I'm just scrubbing, and as I said, this is another scrub brush that I have. I will also caution you about one other thing. I'm not going to do this in a straight line for 2 reasons. One, I might scratch the glass, and the other reason, there are no straight lines in nature. So it will not look nice if that's what ends up happening. I'm going to show you what the front looks like before we go any further. So I will add another coat. Some areas don't need it, but I think that for the most part, especially on the edges, I am going to add more. And I'm going to put this here to try and get as much of it out. This foil, this Harvest Gold, is so forgiving that you may not even need a scrub brush. Look at this. And I won't come to the edge either. So I'm going to go over it one more time going to make sure that I can get whatever foils off as possible. And this is, I was filming this, but I guess I must have missed putting the button on. So I'm just, as I said, filling this up, areas that may not have, I'm not using my nail, I'm using just my thumb. Try here. And I will put another coat on whether it needs it or not, just to show you how to do that. Now, this is not as sticky as it was before, so that's why it's okay if I touch it. You need to be careful not to scratch it. I'm going to try to do this and a little bit more here and see what happens. And I'm still using the piece I used originally. And I am getting more coverage out of this. And I will not seal this before I apply the resin, the foil adhesive. I'm going to turn it around. See where I can add a little bit more. So I'm going to do the exact same thing and reseal this, and I'll do it in fast play. Good morning, good morning. Okay, so yesterday we gave it a coat of foil adhesive, and I think I found a way of making this easier to use. I haven't cut it off yet, but I will. This is again the Harvest Gold, one of my favorite foils because it goes everywhere. And I'm just going to simply give it another. See, it's already coming off, you can tell, and I haven't even started. Remember, make sure that you don't have the top part of your foil anywhere near I'm just going to do this with my fingers, and if it needs more, I'll brush it or scrub it with my scrubber. And hopefully we won't need, I know we won't need another piece of foil. This is time consuming, I know, because, well, it's not the time that it takes to make, it's not the work involved, it's just that it takes a while for it to, the steps actually is what I should be saying, take a while because the drying, not the drying, but the waiting for the foil adhesive to become tacky. But see, so far, this is pretty clear. And do not throw these bits because you can use them on another project. And I can't wait to see what this would look like. Done. The scrubbing does not take any time. But after I do this, I am going to put resin on it. And leave it to dry. So see, this is what we have left from this. Let me see if there's anywhere else that needs it. Now, if it's not perfect, that's fine. This is handmade, remember? This is not machine made. I'm going to keep this just in case, and I'm going to turn it over. Are you ready? Wow. Wow, wow is all I can say. This is so beautiful. I'm going to set it aside, and then I'm going to resin it. When I'm ready to resin, I'll come back. So I have this mixed up, and I waited about 10 minutes just to see what would happen to the bubbles, and they're still there, a few of them. So I'm just going to probably end up using my fingers to do this. Well, my hands, rather. Let's see. I'm anxious to see how this particular resin works. Might need a little bit more. Yeah, I do. You don't want a heavy coat. You're just doing this to protect the resin. Actually, no, I don't. So I'm going to put the heat gun on. And we'll see. Just going to wipe down my hand. So I don't mess up my heat gun. Keep your heat gun moving. And when it's dry, I'll come back and show you the final look. Okay, so I just brought this out. And it's beautiful, but I have some resin that needs to come off, and I'll show you how to do them. This is your heat gun. Oops. And this is called a burring tool. But I don't know why my tool is not going in. But I'm going to try it anyway. I should have done this earlier. But I didn't. Now, to avoid this, you could put tape all around here, and that would stop it from becoming like this. And as you see, it's coming off. You could try it with a knife, but I don't recommend it. The small ones come off easily. She says that. Like that. And I will come back and show you the finished back and front. Okay, this is the back. Very smooth. We have nothing that's sticking out, except a little bit of these pieces. And the front is all smooth, and your plate is ready for your guests. Wait for, I think it's 7 to 14 days. And I would hand wash. I would not put in the dishwasher. I hope you enjoyed this. If you do, please subscribe to my channel. I'd love to see you there. Thank you.